and welcome back to 30 Days of Yin. Today's theme is the Kidney Meridian. Today, we're going to get started off in a toe squat. Just come into a tabletop position, tuck your toes, and then lean back to kneel up tall on your knees. And this is where we'll stay. Your toes are tucked, your butt rests on your heels. Option to fold a blanket under your knees for a little bit more support. This is a very intense pose, especially getting started right off the bat. We won't be here long, we'll be here for less than 2 minutes, but it can begin to, like I said, feel very intense, and as always, I invite you to come back to your breath. Begin to start to tap into that deep heart breath, that deep diaphragmatic breath, opening your airways, your air channels, expanding your abdomen wide and expelling all the air out. Continue to breathe. Allow it to be uncomfortable, but not painful. Get familiar with what discomfort and pain feels like in your body. Acknowledge when you need to leave something because it hurts, and acknowledge when you can stay because maybe it's just a little bit uncomfortable, and maybe we're just learning to grow through that. Heat may begin to start cultivating in your body. If so, I invite you to take a deep inhale, open your mouth, stick your tongue out for a deep exhale, releasing some of that heat and energy that we've built up. We're almost through here. Stay for these last few moments. And just like that, you get to release. Lean your body forward, bring your palms to the floor, untuck your toes slowly. Bring the tops of your feet to the mat and sit your butt back on your heels. Rock your body back, and we find a nice deep toe stretch, a nice counterbalance, that very intense opening pose. Lift your knees up off the floor and come to balance just on the tops of your feet, pressing firmly into your palms so you have 4 points of contact here. Play around with maybe where your head is. Maybe if you want a little bit more opening in your chest and your throat, you lean your head back. Or maybe you just bring your head to neutral, allowing the focus to be in the stretch of your toes and your ankles and the top of your foot. Begin to rock your body forward. Come to tabletop. Begin to step your feet to the width of your mat, and we find a nice deep yogi squat here. Option to place a block under your seat to bring the earth a little bit closer to you. Bring your hands to Anjali Mudra, prayer position, out in front of your heart center. Press your elbows into your knees and press your knees into your elbow, creating oppositional force. Allowing your hips to sink a little bit deeper the longer we stay here. Continue to keep active force in your upper body, in your legs, as you press firmly into your feet. You find a sturdy, comfortable squat to stay for the next few minutes. You're going to slowly begin to transition into dangling pose here. So if you'd like the support of two blocks, go ahead and grab those now. Begin to press firmly into your feet, and as mindfully and slowly as you can, begin to press into your legs and straighten your legs. You keep that nice hinge in your chest and you dangle your body forward. Your head dangles towards the ground. Maybe you find a nice gentle bend in your knees here. And then this is where you can use your blocks. Maybe you place your blocks underneath your shoulders to rest your palms there, to bring the earth a little bit closer to you. Play around with the height that works best for you, and maybe you don't need the blocks at all. Maybe you bring a bind to opposite elbows, hold opposite elbows with opposite hands, and allow your body, your upper body, to just melt and release tension. Play around with how bent or straight your legs are. Try not to lock your knees out. So wherever you are, keep at least just a micro bend in your knees. Maybe you have a deep bend, bringing your chest closer to your thighs, and the opposite spectrum, maybe you have just that slight micro bend. Explore, arrive, and stay. And as mindfully as you rose, you will as mindfully begin to lower once more, bringing your body back down to the earth and finding that support of your seat from your mat. You make your way into half butterfly pose here. Bring your right heel in towards your pelvis and play around with how close or far away it is. And extend your left leg out long to the side of the mat. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you begin to sink your chest forward. You still have those blocks nearby. You can recruit them in here and play around with the blocks, creating a little structure that works best for you. And you don't have blocks, something similar that you can use as a support system to just bring the earth closer to you, to find better success for yourself and meeting yourself where you're at. And flex your left toes. You maintain activation in your body. Even though you're sinking, your body still is very much so active. And as you stay and explore, maybe the hinge in your chest becomes deeper. Allow yourself to change and develop as you stay. Your arms were extended out long where you had that hinge in your chest. Walk your hands back towards your body and press your body up. You find a neutral spine and you make your way onto the other side. Bring your left heel in. Extend your right leg long to the corner of your mat. Play around here with what the depth and extension looks like for this side. Maybe you have more space in your body to play around with. Maybe there's a little less. Maybe we're a little tighter on this side. Without judgment, acknowledge and then move forward. Acknowledge how you can work with that information and best show up for yourself here. With your awareness of the present moment and of your body, begin to make your way back up. You set your block to the side for now and keep your left heel in towards your body and you swing your right leg over your left leg as we find shoelace. Bring both heels closer to your hips. This may vary depending on the space and length you have in your body. Make sure both sit bones are flush to the ground. And fold a blanket or your mat to help tilt your pelvis forward a little bit here. Do try to find the stack of your knees on top of one another. You can point your toes here. Might have to wiggle around a little bit. And I invite you to begin to find a nice deep fold here. Option to bring the blocks back into the mix. This way you can rest your forehead at whatever depth you arrive to. You can play around with where your hands are, either pressing into your feet, helping keep them still in space, or maybe you find more expansion and reach your arms out long in front of you. Always feel encouraged to play, to explore, before you finally settle at that line of comfort and discomfort where you can find something new. Wherever you ended up, begin to bring your body back in towards yourself. Bring your arms back in closer to you. And then vertebrae by vertebrae, roll your spine back up. Find a neutral spine here as we begin to switch sides. Uncross your legs, bring your right knee over to the side and let your left leg release. Bring your right leg under you and your right heel towards your glute. And then bend your left knee and find that stack of your knees on top of one another. Wiggle around until you can find your sit bones firmly pressed into the floor and your seat in between both heels. If you take a peek down, your heels should be in one nice line for one another as kind of a visual. Then maybe you find something similar, or maybe you find something different on this side. Always be curious, always acknowledge the differences, and always acknowledge how you can show up in the present moment, even if that looks different from what it was just a few moments prior. If your awareness maybe has wandered, just begin to gently draw it back. Come back to your body, come back to your center, and slowly begin to rise back up. We find a neutral spine once more. You can set your blocks off to the side for now. Begin to uncross your legs. We make our way onto our back, and you find figure 4 on our mat. Bring your right heel over your left knee and hug your thigh in. Bend your right leg and place your heel behind your left thigh. Play around with how far or how close your legs are to your chest. Flex both of your feet. Stay active in your legs. Feel the deep stretch in your hips. How the iteration of your legs changes how the stretch feels from hip to hip. Maybe you start with your legs a little bit further away. The longer you stay, maybe you realize you can arrive a little bit deeper into the pose. Acknowledge what your body needs moment to moment. Now you can show up for it and push yourself to find that edge and stay. Begin to release the grip of your thigh and allow your feet to come back down to the earth. We switch sides. Bring your left ankle over your right knee and hug your right knee in towards your chest. You find that lock of your fingers behind your right thigh. Play around with how deep you want to find this stretch. And play around with maybe pressing your elbow, your forearm into your thigh to press your knee towards the end of your mat slightly. See how that feels. Remember, I always invite you to explore either my suggestions or exploring what your body is calling for you to do, for you to show up for it in this moment. Slowly release the grip from your thigh and allow your legs to come back to the earth. Roll over to one side and grab your blocks for a supported fish pose. You have your blocks, a bolster, or a pillow, and play around with the height here. When you lay your body back down, your spine is supported and your head is supported. And once you find the iteration that works best for you, you can extend your legs out long. I have my blocks on a pretty high setting here. I wanted a really deep back bend, but I invite you to find the iteration that works best for you. So maybe it's a little bit lower. You want your upper back to be supported, your shoulder blades almost hug the block. And then your shoulders roll off to the side if you're using a bolster or a pillow. You feel that expansion in your chest. Your head is supported to the point where you don't feel any tension or anything uncomfortable in your neck, and you can just completely surrender here, allowing your upper body and lower body to relax and feeling your heart expand and feeling the openness here. Allow your palms to face up to the ceiling, inviting energy in. Stay here and melt. With care and mindfulness, begin to bend your knees and slowly roll your body off of your support. It's kind of no necessarily easy way to get out of that, but you find the way that works best for you. You move your blocks off your mat and we find extended child's pose for our final pose today. Bring your big toes to touch, open your knees wide. Extend your arms out in front of you and allow your head to melt towards the mat. You want a little bit more stretch here in your shoulders, your upper body. Bend your elbows and send your palms to the back of your neck, to your shoulders. Maybe you give your shoulders a little squeeze, a little massage here before you slowly begin to find stillness, allowing all of your body to release here. Do a body scan if there's any tension you're still holding, maybe in your thighs and your hips. Release it now. Release your stomach, release your chest, your neck. Allow yourself to be fully supported. Allow yourself to melt here, your final resting pose. This is where I will leave you. I invite you to stay in this pose, maybe find a shavasana for however long time allows for you today in this moment. The light in me bows to the light in you. Thank you for showing up today for yourself. I'll see you tomorrow.